Hi there, I'm Shoshana Landis, and this is why I relay. I've been involved with the American Cancer Society for the past 7 years, and I've been volunteering with them during that whole time. And let me give you a little bit of background as to why I am involved with the Relay for Life. The Relay for Life started in 1985 with Dr. Gordy Klatt. He thought he could help his patients do more for them than just treat them. So he decided to do a 24-hour challenge by running or walking the track in Tacoma, Washington at Purdue University, and he challenged his coworkers, his friends and family, and even his patients to support him in doing so. And he stayed up all night, ran the track for 24 hours, raised $27,000 in that 24-hour time. So that was the beginnings of the Relay for Life. And that was also the beginnings of the American Cancer Society getting involved with Dr. Klatt and starting the Relay. And this is their #1 fundraiser. And that in those little humble beginnings in 1985, almost 30 years later, they've raised almost $5 billion, and they're nationwide, and actually they're all over the world now. And they do all kinds of programs to support research and help cancer patients and so forth. Unfortunately, Dr. Klatt was himself diagnosed about 2 or 3 years ago with cancer, and he just passed away last month in August from that cancer. But the whole time he's been a proponent of and a supporter of the American Cancer Society and what he began in 1985. So now what's Relay really all about? Well, I'll tell you this. First, you start a relay committee, and that's made up of all volunteers, and you begin by learning what you want to do as a volunteer in the relay committee and how you can contribute by either being a survivor chair, one of the chair titles, the entertainment chair, whatever role you want to play in the committee. You work for 8 or 9 months putting together the relay itself. It's a one-night event, and it takes all of that planning, but it's well worth it. And then you go from there to finding a location, a spot to hold your event. It has to be a secure spot. It's usually co-sponsored by someone else, and then you find other sponsors to offset costs. And then from there, you hold meetings to kind of plan your event, to find logistics, to see, can you hold this, have this dunk tank at your relay, that sort of thing, for liability issues and so forth, and can you have a marshmallow eating contest, that sort of thing. It's a lot of fun. And then you bring in teams, team captains and so forth. You ask friends, coworkers, the lady at the grocery store, your church friends, that sort of thing. And they raise money because the more money raised, the bigger your event, and the more people you help, basically. And then you hold your event. It's usually 12 hours. It's an overnight event, like I said. And then you sit back and watch the fruits of your labor, basically. And you start out by, you can either find an event, you go online to cancer.org or relayforlife.org, and you type in your zip code, and you can either, like I said, become a team captain or form a team. You can volunteer to be on the committee. You can invite a survivor to the event. You can go to the event yourself and see what it's all about, because they'll pop up in your area. or you can just donate to the event. Any amount helps altogether, from anywhere from $10 to $20,000. It doesn't matter. All of it helps. And then why do I personally relay? Well, in 2008, my division for our campus was, we decided to get involved. And so that was the same year that my cousin found out, right after we relayed, that she had cancer in her kidney. And it had regressed so far, they weren't sure how long she had had it in there, in her body. But her kidney had to be removed at that point. And she had found it accidentally by another test that she had on her aorta. They just found a mass in her stomach region, and there it was. So we relayed because of my work, but then kept relaying because of my cousin and all that she went through. And also because my mom's had kind of a couple of brushes with cancer. They were non-cancerous, but it was a little scary. And then my real father had died from prostate cancer. 1 in 36 men now can actually die from prostate cancer. It's a pretty high number, a little too high, I think. And then 2.5 years ago, my mom-in-law did die from a type of lung cancer, very aggressive. It's the worst type. There are 3 types of lung cancer, and small cell carcinoma is the worst type of lung cancer, unfortunately. And I have a lot of friends and family that I've known and have suffered from cancer and have passed away. I have a PowerPoint presentation, and you'll see their faces, as well as the face of my cousin, my aunt, who are cancer survivors, and my cousin, who I'm hoping, my little cousin, who hopefully will not have to be a cancer survivor. And then there's also on that PowerPoint a news article about my cousin and her second anniversary. They call it your cancer anniversary, your canniversary. She's been cancer free for I think about 6 years now, so that's good. All right, there's also a picture of the quilt that I made in 2009 when I was the relay committee chair, because I asked people to put down why they relayed on pieces of paper, and I collected those, and they were so touching. I could only put, I think, 12 to 16 of them on this quilt. That's all I had room for. And one of them in the middle, towards the middle, was I miss my mom, cancer sucks, and it was from our survivor chair, who later went on to be one of the relay committee chairs, because we take turns. It's a large responsibility, and you're only allowed to do it for 2 years. I did it for 1, and that was enough, because it's such a big event. You can bring in anywhere from 300 to 700 people during that night, and it's a large group. So anyway, that you'll see the quilt too. It was a lot of fun to make, and it was my honor to do so. So what has been gained by the relays, you ask? Well, with each relay we gain more cancer awareness. People are more and more aware of what to look for, how to get their checkups, things like that. That's a good thing. We also gain more dollars to help folks that need the help, and gain more research. I've went to trainings through the American Cancer Society to find out things like I now know that there are 10 different types of breast cancer. I was never aware of that before. One of them is so aggressive that it's almost impossible to get rid of. I did not know that before I found out about this, and that's due to a lot of the research that's been done over the years. Also, there's more interaction community interaction with teams, with businesses and things like that. If you're known to be associated with Relay, when you come around, people say, oh, that's right, that person there, she's associated, he or she's associated with Relay, we can ask them, or we can find out how we can get involved. So that's good. Put a name to a face and that sort of thing. People know who to ask. And we stood against this life-taking disease, and sometimes we've even been victorious. And that's a good thing, because it's taken so many lives. It's always nice to know that you can stand there and get something given back to you. Some more months, some more years, that sort of thing. I know that the plan is always in God's hands, but ultimately, when you see these people that fall by the sidelines, it's nice to see that there are survivors, that all that you do is worthwhile. So that's good. There's also an article that I included in my PowerPoint about one of my coworkers that it was written in 2008. She was a cancer survivor from 1995 when she was in college. And she had a very aggressive and rare type of liver cancer where they didn't think she was going to make it. The chances were very slim. Well, she grew up, she got married, she adopted a child, and she's alive today. So even the rarest forms of cancer can be combated, and by the grace of God, that's what happens. So, and there's archive data. Now, we have slowly declined in our archive data as far as survivors and teams and the money that we bring in, but it's a slow decline. We went basically from 2009, 2010, from 54,000 approximately to last year to about 32,000. Yeah, it's a $20,000 decline. It's a lot. However, in this economy, with people who are struggling to keep jobs or to get jobs, I think that we're doing pretty good. So those numbers are still good to me, I think. In the past 10 years, I just wanted to tell you that the company that I work for, the campus that I work for, PVCC, Paradise Valley Community College, has co-sponsored the event with the American Cancer Society, and we in doing so, we have it on our campus. We have it at our track. Our track is about a quarter of a mile long, wide, what have you, and our numbers are pretty good. We've had 300 teams participate in the past 10 years, so that's about 30 teams per year, and we can only house 50 teams a year, so that's not bad. We've had about 2,600 participants on those teams total in the past 10 years, so that's good. We've surrounded the track with over 3,200 luminarias, so that's really neat. So basically, at the luminaria ceremony, you light luminarias and in bags, they're bagged, and they go around the entire track. We follow the bagpiper, who usually plays Amazing Grace, around the track in silence, and it's a touching, beautiful, momentous moment that you just don't want to miss. If you've never been to a relay, please attend one. They're really wonderful. We've also served dinner to 400 cancer survivors. That's approximately 40 a year. I think that's a good number. And we've raised over $419,000 in that 10-year time. So I don't think that's anything to sneeze about. I think that's a lot of money. That's almost $500,000. I think that's really great. And why should you relay? This is the big question. Well, the top and most difficult statistic to give you is that 1 in 3 people will have cancer in their lifetimes. That's a big number. And also, so you can add a voice to those who no longer have a say. And for people to, so we can lead people who no longer, or so that they can fight back. If this is their way of having some kind of a say, and kind of we celebrate, fight back, and this is one of the ways to fight back. We celebrate the survivors. We fight back against the disease, and this is one of the ways. So you're a leader in doing that. We can be heroes of hope. And also from our text, it said that volunteering is our civic responsibility and a privilege. That's true. That's huge, though. And giving back always makes us feel good. And then God, of course, says each of you should use whatever gifts you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. That's from 1 Peter 4:10. There is tonight, if you miss it, that's okay. There's a great volunteer launch party on Twitter if you go to relayforlife.org. But if you miss it, it's okay. Just go to relayforlife.org, cancer.org. I'll have some information on the PowerPoint as well. There's an 800 number you can call 24 hours a day. Someone will pick up and answer your questions. Since the launch of the American Cancer Society, there has been 47 Nobel Prize-winning researchers who have worked diligently on trying to find a cure for cancer. That's huge, that they've actually supported in doing so. And did you also know that 1 in 4 college students relays? We're college students, folks. Isn't that a great idea? Okay. So what will you do to fight cancer this year? That's the big question. And what can you do to help? Superheroes are wanted. Well, you can become a team captain, pull together your friends and families and coworkers, and you can do this. It's fun. You can have bowling, fundraiser, you can have a bake sale, you can have a car wash. It's all good stuff. I sold jewelry last year and raised about $140,000. Boy, wouldn't that have been nice? $140. It was really fun. You can join a committee and volunteer your time and talents doing that. You can donate to the relay. You can invite a caregiver and a survivor to the event. And you can also just volunteer at the American Cancer Society by giving rides and things like that. And what happens to the money that you do raise through your fundraisers? Well, it goes to research, definitely. That's a big one. It goes to different programs through the American Cancer Society. Some of those programs are the Hope Lodge. If you live 30 miles or more away from your treatment, you can get you can stay at the Hope Lodge for no charge. I had the privilege of actually being one of the few people that got to serve dinner to these folks that were undergoing treatment. It was an honor. You can, like I said, drive people to their treatments. You can I'm trying to think here. Let's see. There's also Look Good, Feel Better, where people who can get wigs and makeup and things like that applied and help to feel better about themselves. And there's ways to find out more. Like I said, go to cancer.org or relayforlife.org. And thank you for what you're thinking about doing, and if you have relayed before, thank you for that. It is all appreciated. In my PowerPoint, I also have all of the ribbons, the colors of the ribbons, so you can take a look at them for all the various cancers. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen, and have a good night, and thank you for relaying. Take care.